Hello, everybody, and welcome back to tracking our local shifting real estate market here in southern New Jersey, Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, 900,000 and below. This week, we are in week 8 of February. We are getting a little bit of normalcy, return to this week's stats, and I have basically just one extra item for you this week. I don't want to drag this one on like some of the other ones I've done recently where I've kind of gone into a whole entire topic and broke it down. I'm going to make this week a little bit shorter. Week 8. I'm actually happy because for basically the first time since the start of the year, we've actually gone up in the amount of inventory we've had. We have had a slide starting at 1322 all the way down to 1205 last week, available listings. That's not been good for the market, and it's been hurting things. And you can see that playing itself out in these days on market numbers. We've seen our days on market have plummeted, meaning houses are being gobbled up very quickly, and a lot of that inventory is being gobbled up very quickly. Okay, so this week we finally have a perfect ratio again. We had it last week, but it was even more. 303 new listings. That's what I think I predicted and wanted from last week, was I want to start seeing our new listings on a weekly basis get back up to that 300 level. We saw that our pendings, or the ones that went under contract, that was only at 250 and close was only at 210. This is what we need to see. More listings coming on than are coming off, increase the available supply, decrease the craziness. Okay. Our expired, withdrawn, and canceled, again, a fairly low amount. I'm not expecting these to be overly high. Our price reductions, again, fairly nominal, a little less than 10% of the market is doing a price reduction every week, which is about standard for what we're expecting. And again, our days on market are seriously tanking. This week, we went from an even farther jump. We went from 44 median days on market all the way down to 24 in 8 weeks. That's a huge jump. I mean, all last year, when we start looking at, the averages from last year, our median was 47, 35, 28, 25. And this was all right in like the heavy peak part of the season where it was just super, super low and super fast. It slowed down near the end of the year, obviously going into the winter. And then we can see here, it really peaked up in the beginning of this year up at 44, but we've ripped right back down to that quick days on market at 24 again for median, and again, average is pulled out. Whatever, median, average, we keep saying the words. But the point is, inventory is still being gobbled up. And what this is also showing is that a lot of the inventory that had been sitting for a while that did have 60, 90, 120 days, that has come off the market. A lot of those houses have either pulled off or whatever, come back as a new listing, but a lot of the new listings are now selling, so that's pulling it down. Prices were back up at this 339 number. If you remember from last year, this was the number that we held from basically what was this, June? We held from June all the way through to the end of the year. We stayed right up at around that 339, 340 price for our averages. So we had a little bit again, just because the market slowed a bit. We kind of dropped that median list price back down to like the 335, 330. We kind of hovered there for a bit. And then these past 2 weeks, we have come back up to this 339 number. So all signs pointing in the right direction for me. Prices didn't go up crazy. We had our golden ratio back. New listings were up positively, and days on market are pretty quick. So let's talk about the one thing for this week, and that's that people are staying in their homes longer. Redfin did a study. While homeowner tenure has fallen slightly since 2020 peak, the length of time that homeowners are remaining in their properties has doubled to 11.9 years last year, up from 6.5 years in 2005, according to a Redfin analysis of median U.S. homeowner tenure by year using county records. Now, Redfin is just a reputable real estate brokerage. They're national and everything like that. I respect their data analytics here. So 6.5 was the average amount of time that someone spent in a home as of 2005, and then it's doubled to 11.9 now. Well, why is that? Well, I think we can all talk about what was life like back in the early 2000s. Real estate trade-ups were very easy, even from late 90s going into kind of the financial crisis of 07, 08. Trading up was really easy because your home appreciated a really good amount basically every year. And so you were able to quickly flip out of that. You had enough equity to pay off any commissions and stuff like that and roll into the next house without having to take a step back financially. At the moment, anybody who's buying a house, you might be taking a step back financially. And so that's the difference, is that back in 05, to move houses, you could do so and step up financially. Now to move houses, you're stepping down financially because you're increasing your monthly payment. All sorts of things are going crazy. This doesn't surprise me. But the problem starts to become, we're still looking at an incredibly low inventory market and people aren't moving. And so this is why we're experiencing, I wouldn't say this is why we're experiencing. I would say this is a side effect of what we've been experiencing with interest rates, rising prices, election year uncertainty, and all that. So at the moment, here's the advice. Sellers, it's a great time to sell because you're getting top dollar. Buyers, it's a difficult time to purchase because of interest rates and the competitive landscape. You're going to get bit on one end or the other. Now, you could always sell, rent for a year, and try again, but you'd end up paying capital gains tax on those funds if you don't put it into a like kind instrument. And renting stinks because you're just going to spend, especially if you have a $2,000 a month rental, you're dropping 24 grand next year as an expense, right? And that's hopefully you get your security deposit back. So anyway, not much to take from this week's stats other than a little positivity, and not much to take from that data other than I get it. I understand why people are staying longer. Market factors, social factors, livability factors, all of that has become more difficult right now. Do I expect to see that reverse course? No, not really. I think a lot of people are starting to try and find homes that they're going to be comfortable in for a longer period of time. I think the idea of moving becomes more troublesome. The uncertainty of what years ahead of us are bringing, that's also going to be a little bit more uncertain. Every year it becomes a little bit more uncertain, and so it becomes a little more difficult to plan. Oh, well, we'll only be here for 3 to 5 years, and then we'll move up to another house. Your first house is maybe a 7-year house now. So anyway, that's kind of what I didn't want to go into a whole thing here. I just saw that when I was doing some of my reading and some of my news that I saw this past week, and this one just stuck out to me like a sore thumb of just understanding why this may happen. So you may fall somewhere in this. Again, we're kind of rambling here at this point. I'm just trying to rack my brain over this and just understand what other factors may go into this. I'm going to try and do a little thinking. Maybe we'll bring it up on another video in the future, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on this. So anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Chat with you next week.